Yo, back once again with another YouTube video, man. I know I've been gone for a minute. It's been a couple of months. I think my last movie review I did was for Avengers Endgame, I believe. Yeah, because I don't think I uploaded any others after that. Yeah, and I was all the way back in April. So, yeah, it's been pretty much like almost 3 months since I dropped the review on this channel. Not that anybody will see this review anyway, because I hardly get views on my stuff anyway. But, you know, if you run across this video and you see it in its entirety, man, I appreciate the view. I appreciate every single second you spend watching this video, because you could have spent those seconds somewhere else, but you decided to stay around and watch me ramble on about this film. So your time is most valuable and it's very appreciated. And I do thank you for watching this video off top. So, without further ado, man, let's jump right into it. This review, of course, is for another highly anticipated Disney Marvel film, Spider-Man Far From Home, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. So this film takes place after the events of Endgame. So this is the first film that we get introduced into the whole new phase of Marvel, pretty much. I guess you could call this the beginning of phase 4 for the MCU. So this is the very first film we're introduced to right after Avengers Endgame. So we get a little glimpse to see where Marvel is going, pretty much. The answers is not really clear. I mean, we get a little bit of a clearer answer in this film, but it's still a lot to be desired. Still a lot of questions up in the air as far as, you know, where they're gonna go from here. What's the next big threat? Who's the next huge villain? And yeah, so we do get a couple of things cleared up in this film. I don't think it's that much, but we do get some key plot points that was left open in Endgame kind of cleared up in this one, so which is still good. But overall, you know, in short, because I'm gonna go into spoilers and stuff later on, but in short, you know, it was, I gotta say, just standard, typical, good Marvel film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a bad film at all, of course not. You know, I'm actually thinking about seeing this again. Really good, very entertaining, man. I liked it, but it didn't really exceed my expectations. That's what I'm trying to say. It didn't exceed my expectations. It wasn't like, oh snap, wow, you know. I would say except for the 2 end credit scenes, because oh my gosh, yeah, I'm gonna get into those, man. I'm gonna definitely get into those. And it's very, that was my wow moment. I was like, okay, wow. But yeah, but the film overall, it was, you know, standard good Marvel film. Like it was, you know, just a good Spider-Man film. Like I said, it didn't exceed my expectations. It just reached my expectations. It's what I expected, pretty much. A good movie, and that's what I got. Very entertaining. A lot of great characters, of course. A lot of the returning cast from the first one comes back in this one, of course, and they do their thing again. So it's really not much here. Really not really much that you haven't seen before. It's pretty much more of the same thing. You know, and that's pretty much it. Not to say that's not a bad thing at all. It's, like I said, it's a very entertaining movie. You'll definitely have fun with it. Tom Holland, he nails it in the park once again. You know, Aunt May, Ned, Mary Jane. Well, it's MJ, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, all those guys, they do a really good job. But I will say, I still think Spider-Man Homecoming is better than this one. I do think this is a little bit of a step down from the first Spider-Man film that we got 2 years ago. And it just didn't reach, I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming was just so amazing. No pun intended. But Spider-Man Homecoming was just so amazing. The villain was great. It's just everything, man. It just worked in that one. This one, I just felt like it was just a little bit, it was a little bit of a downstep from the first one, man. So it was a little bit worse than the first film, but it's still a great movie. It's still a pretty good and fun flick, man. Pretty good and fun flick. So I think I'm gonna get into my goods, I guess, my bads, and wrap it up from there. I guess I don't know, man. I'm gonna just ramble on, I guess. I guess one of the great things I did like about this, like I said, now I'm going to go into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film yet, do not watch past this point because I may spoil some things for you. But one of the good things I did like about this movie is that they cleared up some of the things as far as like what happened after the snap. They call it the blip. They actually call it the blip. So yeah, so they explain like you know, when some people got dusted back into existence, you know, if that makes sense, where everybody just came back to life. Some people, they aged, and then some people, they stayed the same age. And then as far as like Peter's high school goes, because that was one of the big questions in Endgame, like, okay, now that Peter's back in high school, like, do they continue on from where they left off before they got dusted off, or do they have to start over again? Well, the movie actually answered that question, and basically they had to start all the way over again. So they had to start high school all over again from the I guess you would say from the 9th grade all the way to the 12th. So I guess if you was in the 11th grade in this world, you had to start back again. So yeah, everything is pretty much reset back. They alluded to some things about like because I don't know, it seemed like with the whole snap, like the blip as they call it, when everybody got brung back, it seemed like I said before, some people aged 5 years past their age when they got dusted, and then some people stayed the same age. I don't know why, but yeah, that was kind of confusing to me. I'm like, well, I would think that it will be either one or the other. Either everybody will be 5 years older than what they were, or everybody would just stay the same age. But I mean, from what this film was saying, it just seemed like it was a mixed bag. Like some people, they aged 5 years, and then some people, they just stayed the same age. So I guess that. I'm trying to see what else they did reveal about. Gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Why am I drawing a blank? But yeah, they did answer that pretty much, and that was in the beginning of the movie. So. But yeah, this one, I just felt like it was overall, I just felt like it was toned down a little bit. Like a lot, like especially like in the beginning to the middle, it just kind of seemed like nothing was happening. Like nothing really exciting was going on. Like, yeah, Mysterio, he did pop up like early on in the film, but still it was just like, you know, it's just dragging along kind of like, oh, when is something exciting going to happen, you know? It just felt like that for like nothing was really happening. I mean, they went on this trip to Europe, you know, a class trip. And side note, I don't know what kind of school they go to, but I never heard of a school taking like students on a plane like cross country to like a trip like that. Like the most you will see like is a class trip to like I guess if you live in Florida, you would take like a bus all the way up to Orlando to go to Disney. I mean, that's like the furthest you will go for a school trip. But a school trip that takes you on a plane like cross country, I mean, it does happen, I guess, but I don't know. Like, yeah, that's just a little side note, so disregard that. But yeah, this one felt like a little bit more toned down from the first one. Like not a lot of exciting things was happening, especially in the beginning and the middle. There were some interesting things that happened. But it just felt like it was just going with the motions almost. I don't know. It just felt kind of like dull, like a little bit of a drag. Not to say it was boring, but it was just like really nothing of like excitance, if that's a word, ever really happened. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, okay, you know, it's cool, but, you know. But I would say from like the middle, like the greater middle all the way through the end, like from like the mid-second act all the way to the final act, that's when it picked up. That's when it started getting better. So it got better as the movie went along. But still, you know, I just felt like it was just a little bit of a drag from the first one. I just felt like the first one was great all the way from start to finish. This one, I felt like, you know, it was kind of like, it was okay in the beginning. Like, it was good in the beginning, but it wasn't like, oh my God, like it was so good. You know, it was just cool in the beginning, but then it got better towards the end. So, I mean, yeah, you did have that. Now, man, I don't know why I'm drawing blanks. I guess I could just start with the villain of his stuff, Mysterio. I did like Mysterio. One of the things I did like about him was, like in the very beginning, of course, when we're introduced to him, like you don't know what his whole motive is really. Like he seems kind of like that kind of, you want to believe that he's a good guy and he's here to save the day, but it's just something like how he comes off. I don't know if it's just me or anybody else picks up on it, but it's just how he comes off. You could tell that something's up with this dude. Like, he's just playing it way, way, way too cool. Like, he's a very likable guy in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I watch it, I'm like, okay, like, something's got to be up with this dude. Like, he doesn't... And part of me wanted to believe that he was actually the good guy. Because, like, you know, when the trailer first dropped, everybody was like, okay, when we saw the Elementals, everybody was like, oh, this may be a deception created by Mysterio. This may be like a delusion or whatever. But people was also saying, well, he could really be the hero. He could really be from, you know, this other dimension or other universe, as they teased in the trailer. So it was kind of like those questions up in the air as far as like, you know, is he really a good guy or is he a bad guy? And like I said, I'm going to spoilers. Of course, it gets revealed. Yes, he is the villain, of course. You know, it wasn't really a big shock. Pretty much everybody predicted that. Even, you know, when they saw the trailers, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, if you knew who the Mysterio character is and what he's capable of doing, you pretty much know that he's pretty much, you know, a con man, pretty much, you know, creates illusions and stuff like that. So, you know, seeing the Elementals and stuff is really a mirage, basically. And, yeah, it gets revealed that, yes, he is the villain. But in the beginning of the film, when he's first introduced, he comes off very, I mean, I liked him a lot. Like, he was very likable. Like I said, very cool dude. Even the dialogue scenes that he had with Peter Parker, it just seemed like he was just, you know, just a cool dude just trying to save the world, you know what I'm saying? Because of the story that he told. Like, you know, he said his Earth was crushed by the Elementals. And, you know, he came to this universe to try to save this Earth from this elemental threat. And, yeah, he just seemed believable, just seemed cool. And, yeah, that was it, you know, until, like, you know, it gets revealed what happened and stuff like that. But, yeah, he was very believable. And I really liked how they did him. Because I'm not really familiar with the Mysterio in the comics. I know him from the Spider-Man cartoons back in the day. But I do know at least the overall gist of the character. He's more like a Doctor Strange-esque. I don't know his like true origin background, but I know he messes around with like illusions and sorcery and magic and stuff like that. But in this one, he's not really a magician. He's not really a sorcerer like that. He's not really like a Doctor Strange dude. He's actually used to work with Tony Stark. Because basically one of the big plot points in the movie is that, remember in I forgot which film it was, but when Tony created this whole like holographic virtual reality technology through the glasses. Like when you put on these glasses, you could kind of see like you could create worlds with this alternate kind of reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, everything is like holographic. I'm trying to explain it, but basically it's just like a holographic projection, pretty much. That was one of Tony's inventions. Well, the person who worked on the inventions with him to create that was the guy Mysterio. He didn't call himself Mysterio in the beginning of the film. It was pretty funny how he got the name. It was really funny how he got the name. But yeah, he actually went by his real name in the beginning. But then Peter called him Mysterio when he met up with him in the beginning. Because, yeah, he was like, yeah, that's what they call you on TV. They call you Mysterio. He was like, oh, I'm not Mysterio. And then in one of the later scenes, I guess he liked it enough where he was like, you call me Mysterio. I don't think he said that verbatim, but he was pretty much saying, yeah, call me Mysterio. He was like, okay. So I guess he you know, he grew into the name or whatever. But yeah, but you know, he was one of Tony Stark's employees. And pretty much Tony Stark pretty much fired him or something like that. He fired him and he let him go. and he basically had like an axe to grind against Tony for like basically stealing his invention, because that was like part of his creation, was creating this holographic projection through the glasses. So basically it's like these drones that emits lights, lights projections to make solid objects, even to like project humans, project anything, project any object. And it just seems like reality, like you're actually there. Like if you create a car, the car is actually there. You create monsters, you create anything with this technology. So he was part of creating that with Tony, but Tony pretty much let him go, and he had an axe to grind against Tony and blah 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 and stuff like that. So I did like that, like it, like the whole like Mysterio. Like one of the things I loved in this movie was the illusions. Like there's a scene where Spider-Man he's in like the I was gonna say Rey Mysterio like the wrestler but he's in the Mysterio illusion. Like he's throwing little like things at Peter Parker. He's basically in this like trance state, and he's in this like alternate world where he is just like different things coming at Peter, but of course it's not real, it's all an illusion. But he's pretty much like in a trance, and he's like trapped in this. You gotta see what I'm talking about. I'm not explaining it right, but basically he's creating this alternate reality. And they did that a couple of times in the film, and I really wish they would have touched on that a little bit more. That's one of the things I didn't like about this film. They didn't really like touch on those Mysterio aspects, like the illusion part. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy, like Jake Gyllenhaal's character, he does play up as a con man, as a deceiver. You know what I'm saying? He plays that. He played the role really well. Like I really liked the villain in this one. He really played the role of just being a con man, just being a deceiver, just trying to pull a wool over somebody's eyes, and you don't know what his intent. Like he's very sly. Like you can't really trust him. Always looking at him with a side eye, because he could come off as like really. He could play off really cool, like really cool and innocent. Like in the beginning, like was his character. He was very likable, very cool. You think that he's the hero. You think that he's just here to save the day, just to save this version of Earth. And you believe his story because he just come off. But then like deep down, you're like, there's something, like he's just playing it way too cool, man. Just way too cool. But I think that that's a really good portrayal of Mysterio. Yes, you don't get the whole spiritual aspect of it. You don't get the whole magic aspect of it, like Mysterio being an actual sorcerer or actual like magician or whatever. But it still has those elements to it. It doesn't lose that. It's still in the spirit of the Mysterio villain. Especially with the illusion scenes with Spider-Man and Mysterio. Like I really wish we would have got more scenes with Mysterio and the whole illusion thing. They could have played that up a little bit more, but we didn't get enough of that. We just got like a glimpse of it. We got some, I wouldn't say a glimpse, but we got some good aspects of that whole illusion, because I really like that about the Mysterio character, especially in the Spider-Man comics and the cartoon. Like you definitely seen that in the cartoon and stuff, and of course it's in the comics, but in this one you definitely see that. And like when you see it, you're like, yeah, that is Mysterio. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're trapped in Mysterio's world and his illusions and stuff like that, just throwing stuff at you, and you don't even know what's real, and you can't tell what's real and what isn't, pretty much. And I really think they should have played up to that a little bit more, played up into that illusion aspect a little bit more, as far as like questioning things a little bit, like as you're watching a movie, kind of be like, okay, is this real or is this? They could have really played up into that, but I really feel like they fell short of that, man. They really fell short of that. Like I said, they did it, but not till its full capabilities, man. I really feel like they should have tapped into that a little bit more, and that would have made it a lot better. Because when those scenes happen, man, that's when I fell in love with. That's when I liked the movie a little bit more, when those scenes happen, and when you see the actual illusion of Mysterio and his character. I really like that. I really like that aspect. I really like that part, man. So Man, I do like Mysterio. I don't know how other people like him, but I liked him a lot. You know, just his arc, just his, you know, him being the cool guy coming into the bad guy. Now there was one scene where it actually gets revealed, where we first see the reveal that he's actually the villain. Like all of this was actually an illusion. And that scene where it actually gets revealed, I think it was a little bit too much. Like he just explained everything in this whole entire scene. And it was a bit of a drag, you know what I'm saying? Because it was in a bar, he's sitting with Peter, and then once Peter left, he pretty much revealed the whole thing. And it was like, oh man, like in the beginning it was cool how they did it, but then it just kept going on and on. I was like, okay, now this is getting a little bit too redundant. And I felt like that scene dragged on way a little bit too long. And like I said in the beginning, how it was revealed, it was cool, but then I felt like it went on a little bit too long. So it was kind of like a letdown after, like in that scene, like how it got revealed and stuff. But it didn't take me away from the film, not too much. You know what I'm saying? I still enjoyed it. And man, I don't even know what else to say. I've been here talking about the villain, and it's like, man, you know. Also, this is another thing I did like. I also like that this. I also like the fact that, you know, Peter decided. Well, he did this in the first film, but Peter decided to tell Ned that he was Spider-Man, and I like that Aunt May found out that he was Spider-Man at the end of Spider-Man 1, because I felt like it didn't add as much of like that, you know, that whole cliche trying to hide your superhero identity to like your closest relatives and your closest friends. I felt like, you know, him telling Ned and Aunt May finding out that, and now that they know that he's Spider-Man, it kind of like just, I don't know, it made it, I don't know how to explain it, but it just gives this whole, I wouldn't say it makes the whole movie better, but it doesn't drag it down from Peter Parker trying to hide his identity from his closest relatives and loved ones. Now that they know, they're like cool with it. They're like almost helping him out. So I really like that part. Like in the beginning when Peter Parker, he goes to Europe with his classmates, Aunt May, she actually packs a bag with his Spider-Man suit in the suitcase, and she sends it off to Europe. She said, "Oh yeah, you forgot this." And then there's a couple other scenes where Ned is like, "Okay, I'm gonna help you out with trying to hide the classmates or whatever, so you could do your thing." It's those little things that I did really like, because now, you know, it makes the movie feel, it makes the movie look kind of like flow a little bit better. Because imagine if like Ned and like Aunt May didn't know that he was Peter Parker. You would have had like a whole little subplot of like Peter still trying to hide his identity from them. But now that they know, it's kind of like, it's cool, because, you know, they can help him out a little bit. And he actually told MJ about it, and MJ, she got into like kind of helping him out a little bit. And it makes the movie it actually makes the film actually a little bit more better, because now that whole potential plot point gets freed up now. So now it's like, you know, it could kind of be like more fun. It could kind of be a little bit more entertaining now. It's not like this whole, you have this whole side thing of Peter trying to hide his identity. It's kind of like his identity is kind of out in the open to a certain extent, because now certain people know, but not everybody knows. But the people that knows, they're cool with it, and they're not like, you know how some people may act when they find out like you're a big superhero, they may go and tell somebody or whatever. But it's not like that. They still, you know, they're still loyal to Peter. They're still willing to help him out, and you know they're going along with it. And like I said, in some scenes they do help him out. They're like, okay, I'm gonna divert this for you. You go handle your thing, man. Like, okay, I'm gonna handle this. You go do your thing. I like that. I really like that, and I like that he was able to reveal his superhero identity to Ned, and Aunt May finding out that she was comfortable with it. She didn't really freak out. She was, like I said, she's very loving. She's very supportive of him being Peter Parker, and she's not like, oh, don't go out. And she's like kind of like encouraging him to just to be, you know, Peter Parker, whatever, which is really cool. And like I said, MJ, she's like really cool with it. So I did like that. I really love that aspect, man. Really love that aspect of just embracing his character for who he is, and, you know, them still trying to like protect his identity to the masses. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like that a lot. Nick Fury, I feel like Nick Fury in this one, like Sam Jackson, he's like more Sam Jackson in this in this movie than any other Marvel movie to me. That's just to me, like he just comes off so much Sam Jackson-ish, man, with this Nick Fury character. Like he's like that in the other ones, but I feel like this one is like amped up, man. It's amped up to another level, but it's still pretty cool. I love Samuel L. Jackson, man. He's one of my favorite actors. So anytime I see him on screen, it's definitely fun to watch. And, you know, to see him doing his thing, man, like, yo, did his thing. Yeah, special effects, I mean, good. Really nothing much to say about the special effects. I don't think there's anything else to say about the main movie. Not really. Like I said, one of the things I didn't like I said, it's not as good as the first one, because I felt like in the beginning, all the way to like the beginning of the middle, kind of a drag, kind of like going through the motions and stuff like that to me. And it didn't really, it felt like nothing really exciting was going on. You know, it was just like, it was just going along with the motion. It was cool. But then it picked up like in the greater middle towards the end. So, yeah, overall, man, it's a really good movie, really fun movie, man. I wasn't expecting anything bad at all. I mean, it's Marvel, Disney, like, you can't expect, come on, man. they crap out good movies, man. They just know what they're doing, you know? So, I mean, it's another win for Marvel, man. Another good action film, you know? Of course, if you're an MCU head, of course, like me, you're gonna see it the first day it comes out. So I ain't even gotta recommend it, man. You know, I guess, you know, if you're not really into the whole Marvel comic thing, and I don't know, if you're just looking for a good film to watch, just a good action film, I guess I could recommend it to you. But for those people who are not really fans of this kind of movie, you're probably not going to really like it anyway, because you're going to be like, well, I'm not really a fan of it anyway. So to those people, I guess those will be the only people who may not even care about this film. But everybody else, man, like, I don't even got to recommend it. Everybody's going to go out and see it this weekend. More likely I'm going to see this twice. I think this is worth at least a second watch. It is good enough for me to watch it a second time. Like I said, not as good as the first, but I still think is an enjoyable movie enough to see it a second time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it a second time, to really like see certain things that I've missed the first time. I don't think that I've missed much, but I really want to get a good I just want to get a good aspect of like certain little things that I may have not picked up on in the first watch. So I think I owe it to myself to watch it a second time this weekend. So yeah, I guess I could get, man, the end. I gotta say, man, these two end credit scenes probably are one of the best end credit scenes Marvel has ever had, man, just because of what happened in these end credit scenes. Like, so, like, just surprises. Like, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like, the surprises, like, man, like, wow, you know? No new characters no new characters really gets revealed in the end credit scene. So there's no really like Easter egg of a new character coming. So it's not that. It's just about the whole story, about definitely the first end credit scene. Like this end credit scene, like, it almost, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do from here, man. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with this. I don't know how they're gonna flip this, but I'm gonna explain it right now. So the end credit scene is with when the movie ends, Peter Parker, he's swinging from, you know, city to city with MJ in his arms. Basically, they hook up towards the end because actually, you know, in the movie, MJ, she does kind of find out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. She picks up on certain things. She's like, yeah, you're Spider-Man or whatever. And then he finally reveals like, yes, I am Spider-Man. And they basically, you know, hook up. They're together now. So towards the end, Peter Parker is like taking her like through the city of New York, swinging, you know, doing his Spider-Man thing. And that's how it ends. But then like he drops her off and then he just swings on his own. Then it kind of ends. And then the first end credit scene picks up to after that scene. So it picks up to where like Peter Parker, he's just hanging out at the rooftop or whatever, and like this news bulletin comes up. He's with I think MJ is like down on the floor or something, because he drops off MJ. He's like hanging on the side of a wall. I think so. I think he's hanging on the side of the wall because he saw the little news bulletin like from one of the big TV screen that was in one of the buildings in New York or whatever. But yeah, this news bulletin shows up. It's basically like everybody could see it because it's out in the city. So it's on this the news bulletin is on this big projecting TV screen outside of Manhattan, pretty much New York City. And basically the news bulletin reveals a hidden footage of Mysterio right before he died in the last the last battle scene that Peter Parker had with Mysterio. So the news bulletin says, yeah, Mysterio, he actually recorded a video right before he died. And the video that he recorded before he died basically pretty much frames Peter as the villain. Because he was like, yeah, I came here from another planet to save this one. And Peter, he sent all these drones out on me. He did this, he did that. And then he basically reveals to everybody that he, like, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. So now everybody knows who Spider-Man is because he revealed it. And he was like, yes, Peter killed me. And he set the drones off to come to attack London, and then he set the drones to come and kill me. So he basically framed Peter, like the whole thing, like the way he shot the video and recorded it and edited it out. He basically framed Peter. So now like everybody's looking at Peter like the villain now, pretty much. Like he's it's nuts, man. It is nuts. And actually in the this was the big reveal too. In the end, they actually revealed the Daily Bugle with James Jameson as you know, they revealed James Jameson, the guy who runs the Daily Bugle newspaper. Everybody went crazy for that. Like I was like, oh, I wasn't even expecting that. But that was cool. That was cool. So now the Daily Bugle is in Spider-Man. So I'm pretty sure he's probably going to get a job through the Daily Bugle, whatever. But now that everybody knows who he is, I don't know how that's, like I said, it's wild, man. Wild. Like, wild. Then the second one, oh my God. The second one was with, they showed Nick Fury and one of his assistants driving down the street. And then they're talking. And then all of a sudden, they changed to the Skrulls. So the whole time, the Nick Fury that was in the Spider-Man movie, the Far From Home joint, like the Nick Fury that was in that movie, it wasn't the real Nick Fury at all. It was actually the Skrulls. And Nick Fury, he was actually on a Skrull ship all the way in outer space giving commands to the Skrull. Like he told the Skrulls to give, because in the movie Peter Parker had glasses that Tony Stark invented like before he died or whatever, that basically he has like drones that he could control with the glasses. He could do anything with these glasses pretty much. And he like basically, yeah, crazy, man. Like the whole time, like Nick Fury in this movie was not Nick Fury. It was actually, oh snap, my bad for the drop. But Nick Fury was not Nick Fury in Far From Home. It was actually the Skrulls. The assistant was the Skrulls too. And the real Nick Fury, he was actually out out in, I guess he was in outer space, and he was with a whole bunch of other Skrulls on this ship. They didn't show Captain Marvel, so I don't know where she was at. But that's when I saw the end credit scene, and when I saw the reveal or whatever, I thought that we was gonna see Carol Danvers. I thought we was gonna see Captain Marvel, but we didn't. They just showed Nick Fury walking out of the little room that he was at, and it showed like a holographic projection of him being like on vacation on the beach or something, but it was really just like a wall that he was looking at that projected an image of a beach. And he just walked out of that little room, and then you saw all the other Skrulls walking around this ship, and nuts. Freaking insane. Like, wow. Wow, man. Wow. I think that made the movie for me a little bit. That made the movie for me a little bit, man. Like, I was like, yo, I wasn't even expecting that at all, man. But I'm going to end the review right here. I know I rambled on, man, but yo, I'm not even going to recommend it because everybody's going to see it. Like I said, my overall reaction, my overall thoughts on the film, really good film. Didn't exceed my expectation. It was what I expected pretty much. A really good Marvel film that I'm going to see again. So I'm going to wrap it up from there, man. If you watch this in its entirety, man, I appreciate it. Sorry for the camera drop, man. I'm holding my phone right now because I don't have a stand. And I should get a stand when I do these videos, but I still haven't. So, yeah, man, like, definitely go out and see this film. I enjoyed it. Man, I think that's it, man. It's getting late. I'm out.